This is what an explicit solver can do. Extreme nonlinearities, contact, impact, all handled in real time. Do you want to build your own in Python and see the results come alive in full color? Let's start by defining the basic ingredients of our explicit finite element model. We set up a still linear elastic material with a Young modulus of 206 gigapascals and a Poisson ratio of 0.3. From these values, we compute the shear modulus and the bulk modulus, which give us the elastic wave speed used later for stability checks. The element is a standard 4-node quadrilateral with an optional choice between reduced integration and full integration. I assign unique nodal velocities and initialize the nodal positions of a 1x1 element. If reduced integration is active, we use a single Gauss point with weight 4. Otherwise, the standard 4-point Gauss rule is used. We allocate storage for the Jacobian determinant, shape function gradients, rotation rate, strain rate, and stresses. Using the linear shape functions of a 4-node quadrilateral, we evaluate both the shape values and their derivatives with respect to the natural coordinates. With this, we form the Jacobian matrix, its inverse, and the spatial derivatives of the shape functions. The determinant also contributes directly to the element volume, which we will need later. Next, we compute the velocity gradient tensor by combining nodal velocities with the spatial derivatives. From this, the symmetric part gives the strain rate tensor and the antisymmetric part of the rotation rate tensor, but for this calculation we won't need it. Finally, multiplying the strain rate by the time step gives the incremental strain at each Gauss point. In the elastic regime, we compute stress directly from strain using the constitutive law. First, we write the strain vector in Boyd notation. Since we are in plane strain, we used the reduced elasticity matrix T, which depends on Young modulus and Poisson's ratio. Then the stress vector is simply obtained by multiplying D by the strain vector, sigma equals T times epsilon. Using the spatial derivatives of the shape functions, we build the B matrix and integrate the stress tensor over the element to obtain the nodal internal force vector. First, we impose boundary conditions and initialize the solver. We explicitly set nodal velocities and accelerations. Nodes 2 and 3 get a downward velocity, while the first node are fixed to 0. After the boundary conditions are applied, we zero out any temporary acceleration arrays and ensure nodal mass and other per-node quantities are ready. At each step, we begin with the prediction phase. Compute the displacement predictor u equals dt per v plus 0.5 minus beta per dt per previous acceleration, and an intermediate velocity v equals v plus 1 minus gamma per times dt times previous a. We clear the acceleration array before assembling internal forces. Boundary conditions are applied immediately to keep the predicted kinematics admissible. Next, we evaluate element geometry, compute the Jacobian, its determinant, and spatial shape functions derivatives by calling calc-Jacobian. With those derivatives, we compute the velocity gradient and the strain rate via calc-str rate. Then, from the incremental strain, we accumulate that into the total strain field. The constitutive routine calc stress turns strain into stress at every Gauss point. Those stresses are integrated via calc forces to produce the internal node force vector. Dividing forces by nodal mass gives nodal acceleration. In explicit schemes, the mass matrix is typically diagonal and no global solve is needed. Here, a generalized alpha-style correction is shown by subtracting alpha times priv a and divided by 1 minus alpha to get the consistent acceleration. With acceleration known, we complete the velocity update. B equals v plus gamma times dt times a. Reapply velocity VCs to reinforce constraint and finalize the displacement increment u equals u mass beta times dt squared times a. We then move nodal coordinates x equals x plus u. Before advancing time, we store the current acceleration as previous a, accumulate the total displacements, and increase t by the time step. Let's run the model. First, we initialize the Gauss point strains to the values accumulated so far. These are the incremental strains for our previous computations. With initial strain set, we run a single time step to inspect behavior. After inspection, resume the time loop and march the model forward until the final step and then the final time of 1 millisecond. Finally, present the resulting displacement field over the mesh. This is the accumulated U that shows how the structure responded through the accumulated time. Let's plot the results in a fashion way. This Python function takes the nodal coordinates and the displacement vector, reshapes the data and scales the deformation so we can clearly see the movement. Then it updates the coordinates to their deformed positions. We extract displaced x and y values and create triangular mesh from the deformed geometry. Finally, we use a field counterplot to show how each node moved in the x direction, with a colorful map that highlights the areas of highest deformation. Now let's switch to the x direction displacement. If you're into FEM, SPH, CFD, remeshing, or just enjoy watching solids get squished by clever math, you're in the right place.